Hello and welcome for the final time of 2013. The Barclays Premier League has ended in the year 2013 with Week 19 fixtures here, and it's going to swiftly and quickly move on into 2014, which I suppose will only get better and better as the years go on. That's the trend that the Premier League is setting, and I believe that it will continue to live up to that hype. So, the final fixture of 2013 kicked off at Upton Park, where it was a very entertaining 3-3 draw between West Ham and West Bromwich Albion. It was a great start for the Hammers, mainly due to Joe Cole, who scored the goal very early on. However, in the first half, it was West Bromwich that really grew into the game, and Nicholas Anelka scored a late first half brace, which put Bromwich ahead 2-1 at the half. In the second half, it was more of an exciting, expanded type of game, where Kevin Nolan did grab the equaliser for West Ham, only to be cancelled out by Bromwich's striker Barahino, who scored the equaliser there, and really you couldn't split the sides either way, and it was a very exciting game to kick off the 19th week in the Premier League. At Villa Park, it was Aston Villa and Swansea held to a 1-1 draw there. Now, both sides have gone 5 games without victory. Swansea, obviously, they did dominate the possession, but again, they couldn't break the deadlock. It was stuck at 1-1, and it was only after Gabby Igbonahor gave Villa the lead early on. And Villa are still struggling without the likes of Benteke, and I think a couple of defenders are missing, in particular Ron Vlaar, and they've really struggled defensively without him. And Swansea, they're not out of things yet, and which means they're going to be safe most likely, but they're not out of the woods yet. They still need to be doing their business at home, picking up good home wins, and then going to places like Villa and getting the point, but more or less, they'd probably most of the time wanting to be picking up the 3 points there. At the KC Stadium, it was an absolute onslaught as Hull put 6 past the hapless Fulham. Now, for Hull City, it was their biggest win ever, the scoreline being 6-0, obviously. So, in the first half, it was quite an even contest. Fulham held their own. However, after the half, really, Hull turned up the heat. I'm not sure what Steve Bruce said to his players, but they went in the second half like absolute crazed players and just withstood a million, a bit of an over-exaggeration there, but what they did, they just absolutely pressured Fulham into making mistakes and gave themselves a lot of chances, which they did put away. Tom Huddleston, it was a great performance by him, probably man of the match for me, and also his manager did give him a high amount of praise. And for Fulham, they do sink back into the relegation, and they're not out of it yet. I said a couple of weeks ago that the results were going well for them, and they still need to do their stuff if they want to survive. At the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City only put 1 past Crystal Palace, who were very resilient and strong, and it was City 1, Palace 0. It's City for Manchester City. It's 10 wins out of 10 at the Etihad Stadium. For Crystal Palace, they did have a couple of chances, believe it or not, and they did play quite well. But it was Joe Hart that made the saves when required. City obviously dominated the proceedings early on, but they really couldn't find the back of the net, and it was only until around the 60th minute, where Edin Dzeko did get the one and final goal there. But for Palace, they did miss good opportunities to steal a point, and I feel that what's his face is I've forgotten the Palace manager. I think that he'll be very happy with the performance that they Tony Pulis will be very happy with the performance that Palace put in, even though they did lose that match. Manchester City narrowly edged out Norwich at the Carrow Road, where it was United just beating Norwich there 1-0. Now, Danny Welbeck did score the goal, and he did save David Moyes' blushes by getting the victory there. Norwich did dominate the opening half. They did create a lot more chances than United, but they couldn't convert them. However, United did click into gear in the second half, and they did get the Welbeck goal, which was relatively lucky. But I think Manchester United at this point will take it, and it's the 6th away win in the Barclays Premier League, and they're sitting 6th in the table right now. So again, they're always going to get higher and higher, and United will always be in contention there. Another interesting game took place at the Cardiff City Stadium, where it was Cardiff and Sunderland played out a 2-2 draw. Now, Cardiff opened the first half very well, despite sacking Mackay, which I haven't really talked about, which in my opinion Vincent Tan is completely out of order for doing so. However, in this game, Cardiff were really started off the brighter team. However, Sunderland never gave up, and you can see that when they grabbed the equaliser through Jack Colbeck in the 95th minute. That's right, it was like last kick of the game stuff there. Cardiff, they did have a lot of chances, and they probably could have put the game away a lot earlier. However, to Gus Poyet and his Sunderland players' credit, they did fight, they did show a lot of resilience, and they got a really vital away point there. On to Sunday's games here. There was 4 of them. At Goodison Park, it was Everton edging out Southampton 2-1. Another stunning Seamus Coleman goal, and you can really tell why he's the best defender in the Premier League right now. And that put Everton ahead. And for this defeat for Southampton, it's their 4th in 8 matches, and they're really starting to lose touch with the top 4 and top 5 in the Premier League right now. However, Everton did start off the brighter team, and once Southampton did equalise, there was only one man that would put Everton ahead, and it was Romelu Lukaku, who grabbed the winner. And to Everton's credit, they did push for a third goal, but the 2-1 scoreline there was just enough for victory. A really tight and close encounter took place at St James's Park, where Arsenal again edged out Newcastle 1-0, and it was a cagey opening, I will be honest with you. Both teams were very respectful of each other, and they did try and play the safe passes, and it wasn't really an interesting affair in the first half. In the second half, there was a lot more chances, mainly due to Olivier Giroud getting the one and only goal, which for Arsenal and in the game, which really opened up the match, and therefore Newcastle had to chase the game, and it was more interesting viewing. However, in the 75th minute, Wenger decided to opt for a back 5, and for the last basically 20 minutes, it was a Newcastle onslaught. Arsenal sat very deep. Newcastle basically put everyone in their box, including Tim Krul when they had some corners, and it was very, very cagey for us Arsenal fans. However, they did hold on. I wouldn't have expected that a couple of seasons ago, but credit where credit's due to the players. They did hold on, they did show a lot of resilience, and they sit top of the table at the turn of 2013, moving on to 14. Whether they can stay up there for the whole season remains to be unseen, but again, it's going to be a very tight affair this Barclays Premier League season. At Stamford Bridge, it was Chelsea doing the business over Liverpool 2-1. However, it wasn't a very good start for the Blues, as the Reds got off to a cracker through Martin Skrtel. However, his goal was cancelled out through Eden Hazard and Samuel Eto'o. It was a great game, as both sides did have a various amount of chances, and indeed, Luis Suarez wasn't away from the controversy yet. He supposedly had claims for a penalty. However, the referee Howard Webb, I believe it was Howard Webb, completely dissed them. And in the post-game, Mourinho did voice his opinion on Luis Suarez. He was really a diver, and all that theatrics is completely unnecessary. However, we're getting off the point, and the point is that Chelsea are 2 points. Repeating too many points there, but Chelsea are 2 points off the lead. So again, they're just getting the results, as I've been saying over the past couple of weeks, without no big fuss, and again, they'll be title contenders every year. And the final game is where Tim Sherwood has rejuvenated Tottenham Hotspurs, where they put 3 past Stoke City, and Stoke really didn't have an answer there. the goal scorers was Roberto Soldado, who converted his fourth penalty of the season. However, he couldn't convert his many chances from open play. And currently Spurs sit seventh at the turn of the new year, while Stoke dropped down to 12th. Spurs were the stronger side, dictating play at home, and I like Tim Sherwood's attitude. He doesn't really care how his side plays. He knows that at White Hart Lane, his team has to get positive results, and they did. Stoke really only had one shot on goal through Peter Crouch, but again, it was comfortably saved by Hugo Lloris, and Spurs just ran out the winners there through more goals through Moussa Dembele and Aaron Lennon. And so that is my final video for 2013, which is the review of the 19th week in the Premier League. We're over halfway there. The January transfer window is basically 2 days upon us, so I'll make a video at the end of that summing up all the players that your team signed, or maybe not any players that your team signed. And as always, the review and preview videos will continue to be pumped out on this channel. So thank you very much for your support in 2013. Again, have a happy new year, and I'll see you guys in the new year for 2014. So see you then, and thanks.